JT Crowley is Talking Books. On the show, you'll hear from emerging talent and seasoned veterans from around the world.
Hello, I'm JT Crowley, and I have the great privilege of talking to Wayne Rankin from Texas in the US. He's joining me to talk about his kids' book, Wayne, the Nerd from Arizona. Wayne himself retired from the US Air Force after serving 20 years as a Master Sergeant. Having chatted to Wayne when we were working together to compose this podcast interview, I get the impression that he's a man who has a positive outlook in life. And when opportunities come knocking, he takes them with passion and vigor. Otherwise, he wouldn't be where he is today, running a company with over 400 employees and an annual gross turnover of $20 million. Knockbacks are, in Wayne's language, minor adjustments to be learnt from. In a nutshell, you can best describe Wayne as an opportunist, prepared to give things a go, even take the risks, because you never know, if you don't take the risks, the adventure, well, nothing will get done. So he has a very positive outlook about life, and he likes new challenges, and this is why he's written this book. So now, most of you who will probably remember Mr. T from the A-Team. I certainly did. It was the 1980s TV sitcom, and you're thinking, what is he blabbing on about now? Well, Mr. T had a saying, and he used to go, quit your jibber jabber. So I am going to quit my jibber jabber and invite Wayne Rankin onto the show to talk about his book, Wayne, the Nerd from Arizona. Wayne, come and join me.
Hey, John, it's a pleasure being here, and I look forward to having an opportunity to talk about something very passionate to me.
It's fantastic. And we both remember Mr. T, don't we? Quit your jibber jabber.
Yes, we do.
Wayne, before we open the book, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, about your life? Now, I understand Master Sergeant is the military rank for a senior non-commissioned officer. You earned your military stripes, didn't you?
Yes, I did. But I also wanted to emphasize education. I went on to get a bachelor's degree. I was Magna Cum Laude at a school called Colorado Christian, and I went on and got a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, Magna Cum Laude, and a master's degree, and I enjoyed it. I mean, even though a lot of my colleagues in the classroom were officers and senior officers, I enjoyed it. So it just took me a while to get started, but it worked out pretty good.
So Wayne, let's open the book, everybody. When I look at your book and having read having had previous chats with you, I get the impression this book is based upon yourself. Now, this is a kid's book, everybody. Probably age range 5 to 8-year-olds, 5, 9-year-olds.
Exactly.
And when I look at the book, Wayne, and having chatted to you, I think the character Wayne is you. This is you talking about your childhood, your relationship with your father, and how the moves from in the military schools affected you, and how you conducted yourself with other young kids around you. I'm right, aren't I?
You are. I mean,
so why the storyline?
I am the storyline because I had bad skin, I had pimples, I had buck teeth, I needed braces, but you can't do anything about that. It's just the way it is. But you might see that as a flaw, but people look past those flaws, and real friends, true friends, will look past that and continue to communicate with you.
And when you look at the storyline, everybody, in the book, this message really does come across. So yes, it's a fun book, but there is messages behind the scenes, everybody. Now, Wayne, when I look at the book, when I look at the page of, the Luke Air Force Base in Phoenix, it's a beautiful illustration, everybody. There are 4 lines on that page. And they really do convey the message: life can be tough on kids growing up in the military background, having to constantly adjust to new environments and friends when their parents move on with the service. And that's what you're talking about here. Was it challenging for you, especially when it's a move to another country? How did you cope with it? And this is what you're telling everybody, isn't it?
Well, you automatically group together because you're American and you're in a foreign country, but you got foreign friends too. But what I'm saying is you gotta group together and come together and do what's do what you can. But it was tough. It was tough. Not to mention not having any friends, but making new friends. You don't know anybody. So you're making new friends and trying to start out with those friends for the next 4 or 5 years is pretty tough.
Because Wayne, he's hesitant to go, isn't he? He says, do we really have to go, Dad?
Yeah, eventually you have to go. Your parents or your dad is in the military, and that's life in the military, a nomad, a gypsy, as they say. But it's good. It's a good experience. You got to go to a country you never would have dreamed about, and you got to make some friends because you're American, and you're you're on your own. Really, you're on an island, and so that's that.
Do you know what I found in capturing, endearing about your book, Wayne? I love the scene of, Wayne's first day at his new school in Germany. And if you look at the illustration, the picture, he sat there with his bag unopened on the desk, feeling uncomfortable as the other classmates around him look him up and down. Now, we can all recall that feeling, that sensation, because we've all, a lot of us have all been there. Now, this scene is beautifully captured in the words, but more so the picture, which supports the lines. What little messages are you and Wayne telling kids here?
Well, all the the illustrations are great. You're telling it's that kind of sizing you up. It goes to that period where the kids are trying to check you out and see what you're made of and if you're gonna make it or not. It's you're all by yourself. You feel very alone, but that's only a temporary situation. Sooner or later, somebody is gonna gravitate towards you, and you're gonna make a friend.
And in the book, it's Anita, isn't it?
Yes, she's Anita, and she tells them that you can be anybody. You can be yourself. Be who you are. Be true to yourself. You don't have to change to be this or that to fit in the various groups. So that's what she is. She's looks past his flaws, what he perceives as flaws, his crooked teeth, his bad skin, and says, look, I'm just here to be your friend because of who you are.
And that's important, isn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, you gotta realize that everything is temporary, and you might have crooked teeth, but they got braces. You might have bad skin. Now they got soap that can clear up that stuff. It's just temporary, and you change, your body changes, and so you're just going through those awkward moments in your life where kids trying to pick on you, but that doesn't last long.
Kids can be cruel, can't they?
That's true, but I found out that what, there's another kid just like you feeling the same way, and another kid and another kid, and these kids all gather together and group together, and they found their own group. They own the nerd herd. If that's what they want to call you, fine. But that's just the way it is. And so you just take that and you grow up.
It's wonderful, you know. It's Dean has caught this image beautifully. He's there. There's 4 of them in the picture. He's there with his satchel, whatever you want to call it, sitting there back in class, unopened, and he's looking around, and the others are giving him the up and down. It's wonderful, everybody. Go and have a look.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the story goes on with Wayne in the school toilets. And for most of us, you know, if you're not happy, where do you go? You go to the school toilets to hide away from everybody. And this is what Wayne's doing here, everybody. So he goes to the toilets and he's taking a long, hard look at himself at the mirror. And he doesn't like what he sees, but wishes life would move on quickly. You know, again, this is a poignant little story, isn't it? This is Wayne, and this is you as a child looking in the mirror, thinking, I don't like myself. I want to move on, isn't it?
It is. It is. I mean, we're not all perfect. We can't all be Denzel Washington's. You're gonna have flaws. But you just gotta learn to live with those flaws and accept those flaws and move on. It's kind of tough. You're in those awkward moments in your life, but it will change, and that's what you gotta understand.
And that's the message between those wonderful lines in that little scenario, everybody. And when I look at the next few pages, we've got the canteen scene. And you start off with Wayne sitting on his own. Then somebody joins him a week later, and a week after that, he's got a whole host of kids all around him. The message is sublime, but the illustrations brilliantly capture the scenario. Did you and the illustrator, Dina Soul, have great fun creating the illustrations and working together?
Yes, we did. We knew what we wanted to say, and the illustrations that somebody would put together, and they took some of their ideas and some of my ideas, and we pulled together, and it worked out great.
Because the canteen scenes are very, very cleverly done. You know, he's sitting there with his pizza and on his lunch box there. And as you see, one picture is just him on his own, and all the kids around him. Then there's somebody else, and then there's a whole host of them all sitting around together. Mm-hmm. They are beautifully, beautifully put
and they all share a common theme. They're all funny. They're all fun and games. Well, I had a little partner couldn't stay away.
But he's brought his dog in, everybody.
No, I thought she was gone, and then next thing you know, she's here. But they all share a common theme. They're not afraid to be who they are around each other, and that's what's great about it.
Oh, it is. And then we go to the locker room scene, and the scenes with Wayne and Anita sitting on the stairs are important because within the simple context of the words and the pictures, though fun, bright, and entertaining, you've got another underlying message to kids here about being true to yourselves. So you've got the nerd squad. They're putting the school bullies in their place, something all kids face. The scenario is important to you, and this message is very, very important to kids, and it's wonderfully done in the story. That's important to you, isn't it?
Oh yeah, because you hate to see kids hurt themselves. Nowadays they're cyber bullies, they're bullies. You got to understand that deep down, this is just a temporary situation. And I know that's tough to understand, but you got to understand that maybe you have some friends that are on the internet that you can communicate with, or somebody you can talk to. That's what's important, that what you're going through, your flaws, what you perceive as flaws, aren't really flaws, and that you'll grow out of it. And so I hate to see kids hurt themselves again, because they're thinking that this is the end all, and it's not.
No, it's not. And sometimes you have to appreciate that, a young person who thinks they've got a real problem, it's the end of the world for them.
Oh,
When you
yeah.
look at it as an adult, it's not. But for them, it is. And you've got to understand that
Yes, absolutely.
and help them through it.
And that's what's important, no matter what you are. This is a military dependent, but no matter what you are or who you are, if you perceive yourself as having a flaw and that nobody likes you, that's not true. There's always somebody out there who you can talk to and lean on, and you'll carry that with you for the rest of your life.
Absolutely. And again, so in the book, here we are. We've now got to the situation that after 5 years of being at the military school in Germany, Wayne's moving on again with his father. And the friendships and the relationships that Wayne's had in the book are about to change. So this part of the book, everybody, is all about changing relationships, how, from a daily contact to, just doing it either through, postcards or phones or nowadays through the internet. So, this is life, isn't it, Wayne? But this is the life and the friendships moving on. Again, this is another step in Wayne's life, dealing with change like you had to do as a child. You were moving on from your friends. You had to deal with it, didn't you?
Yeah, I deal with it. It's tough being away from your friends and moving, and you never see them again. Maybe you'll never see them again, but you know it helps you get through that step, that process, that time in your life. And so sometimes you keep your friends and sometimes you don't, but it helps. It's all a building block and towards getting to the next level and getting to step and your growth. You'll find out that you'll come out a better person.
Yeah, the storylines are very simple, everybody. The pictures are brilliantly put together to reflect the storyline. But within those few lines on each page is these wonderful messages of life moving on. And for kids and for grandparents to sit there and read the book, have a look at it. And some will just have a look at the pictures, some will take more of the words, because every child's got a different reading ability, and I know that. Now, your book, Wayne, for me, having read it, is really you conveying messages to young kids. Growing up is about changes. The problems you face growing up are temporary, as you've already said. So it's all about staying strong and true to yourself. And I quite like, the message you're conveying here is today's nerds have become tomorrow's leaders. Powerful messages backed up by great illustrations. Did you have fun writing this book?
I did have fun. I mean, I never would have guessed I would be a CEO of a company, and I still have some of the friends that I knew long time ago. But we understand that we changed, and but we had at the time we had a common theme. We knew that we were all considered nerds, and so you know we who got the last laugh.
Absolutely. So at the back of the book, everybody, there's a message. Now, if you want to know what the message is about, go and buy the book, because we're not going to tell you. But all it is, and all I'm going to say is caterpillars to butterflies. Wayne, what's next for you, in terms of, are there any more books coming down the line? What's next for you, your life, and, with your writing, what's coming down the line?
I might take it a different direction with a business book. That's probably going to be about. It's going to be very entailed. It's about defense contracting and being small business and so forth, and all the things that entails. But that's going to be a very down the road. I'd say about 10 months or so, or so. It's going to have to be, very encapsulating and get all the details in that, and that's going to be kind of tough. But I enjoyed writing this book. I think it's a book that you can read to your kids again and again and again and again and again. You can't say it enough that whatever you're going through, that whatever flaw you think you may have, that flaw doesn't mean anything to some folks, and that you're going to transform into somebody wonderful.
Who do you see reading your book, Wayne, and who would you like to see reading your book? Do you think this is just for boys or for girls or both?
I think it's for both. I mean, you got Anita, you got Wayne, but really it's about both. The message is about both. It affects both, because she gravitated to him,
That's
and
Anita.
exactly, she looked past his flaws and what he perceived as flaws, and pretty soon you got a whole group of folks who are feeling the same way, and so that's the Nerd Squad.
Where can people get your books from, Wayne?
You can get it from Amazon. You can get it from Barnes and Nobles, and Expresses Publishing. There's all kinds of places you can find it. We have a website called WayneTheNerdFromArizona.com, all one word. So you can get it from there.
Yeah, and when you look at the written introduction, everybody, you've got all the links to his web pages and as to where you can actually get the book from. So it's going to make it very easy for you. But there is a fabulous message at the end of the book. As I said, I'm not going to tell you what it's about. Go and buy the book to read it, because a lot of kids will get a lot from that simple but powerful message. Wayne Rankin, thank you very much for coming on my show. It's been a huge pleasure chatting to you and reading your wonderful kids' book. Wayne Rankin, everybody. So, I'm JT Crowley. Thanks for listening, watching, wherever you are in the world. Till next time, stay safe.